it's cool. We're gonna crop out all the parts of me sucking. How about that? What's up, guys? Sam from Radjunk here, and today we're gonna be reviewing Switch 2 controllers. Yay! So the last time we did this, we had a super high-end, bougie, fancy, expensive Switch controller, and this time we're gonna be doing a little bit more budget-friendly. So 8BitDo was cool and sent me some controllers. We've got 3 different ones at 3 different price points. So we're going to be doing some unboxing, I'm going to play some games, and I'm going to show you guys these controllers. By the way, Prime Day is coming up on Amazon, which is where 8BitDo primarily sells. And that means that they're going to be having a sale. So starting July 8th, they're going to have everything from 15 to 25% off. So if you want these controllers at an even better value, make sure to check it out. I'm going to put the links in the description and, you know, make sure you guys click those. Get yourself some good controllers. All right, so first up, we've got our budget option, and that's going to be the Ultimate 2C Bluetooth controller. And this comes in at the price point of $29.99. So, you know, right around 30 bucks, which I feel like baseline is typically, you know, this is the safe zone for wireless controllers. Because, you know, I see some that are cheaper, but they're not usually very good quality when you get lower than about the $30 price point for wireless. So let's open it up and see. So I love the pink on this. It's just so cute. Oh, and it comes with a little pink wire to match. Cute. Oh, and look. Got some little thumb covers. Those are cute in case we want to use those. Always a fun surprise. Alright, let's get this out of here. Alright, so, you know, we got a user manual. We know how to use a Bluetooth controller at this point in time, but, you know, if you don't. Cool. Well, you know, it feels pretty good in the hands. It's light, but it's not like, you know, sometimes you use controllers and they just feel like totally like they're about to fall apart. This doesn't feel like that, and it's got like textured, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but the grips are textured, so it feels good in the hands. It's not like, not uncomfortable. Sticks feel good, buttons feel good. I'll peel that off of there. Yeah, I think for a $30 controller, this feels pretty nice. I like the pink too. I'm a sucker for, you know, just a girl. I want the cute girly things, but yeah, you know what? I have high hopes for this. And, you know, it charges USB-C. We've got all our buttons at the top. You know, I have a good feeling about this for 30 bucks. So let's go try some games with this one. Since we're filming Switch 2 content, I thought this would be a good opportunity to show off something really cool that Joe made. So this is a 3D printed Switch 2 TV, basically. So take your Switch 2, remove your Joy-Cons, and this front plate here is held on by a magnet. So you can kind of see the magnets on the back end. Pop your Switch right in here. Put the plate on. And wow, it's like a cool TV for your Switch. So, you can turn it on. And now we can try these Switch 2 controllers. Alright, so when I first tried to connect this controller to the Switch, it would not work. And with some quick Googling, so I was like, am I stupid? Like, what? Why can't I get this to work? You do have to download a firmware update for this to work on the Switch 2, which isn't a big deal. You know, you just go to 8BitDo's website, download the firmware updater, plug it into your computer. It takes like 2 seconds. But just be aware of that. If you're buying this controller to use on your Switch 2, you are going to have to plug it into your computer and install a firmware update. Alright, we've got this connected now, so we're going to try a couple different games. Mario Kart, obviously, because it's the game that's everyone's playing on the Switch 2 right now. And then we're also going to try out Super Meat Boy, because if you need, you need your controllers to be really responsive for that game, because it's the OG Rage Bait. So let's try them out. Alright, so naturally we had to play some Mario Kart with this, because, you know, that's the game that's out. So we're gonna be... Where's the cow? Because we gotta be the cow. There you are. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Hot Rod, sure. Why not? I'm not like a hardcore Mario Kart player. I'm like, you know, we're gonna play this at parties and do whatever. Like, I'm definitely not winning any Mario Kart tournaments. Alright, got rumble controls in here. Feels good. Also, I was unaware, but this controller also has the Hall effects joystick, so hopefully, no, definitely there will be no drifties. Oh my god, I'm trying to talk and play at the same time. It's not going well for me. Alright. Ugh. Oh god. You know, it's not a problem with the controller, it's a me problem. Because I'm trying to film and look at this at the same time. Okay, here we go. Just give me the... yeah. Give me that. I clearly need it. The controls are, you know, very responsive, you know, pretty touchy. Like, moving. We're going. Oh, no, I just got knocked out by somebody. Yeah, no, it feels good. You know, buttons are nice and clicky. I just suck at Mario Kart. I can't multitask. But, you know, it feels good in the hands. Joysticks feel fantastic. Buttons feel good. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's go. I'm bad. Bad at this. I'm in 22nd place, but don't worry about it. Filming's hard. Not because of the controller. It's me. Feels good, though. Like I said, sticks feel nice. Triggers responsive. I just can't review and play at the same time. It's just me. Yeah, okay, Mario Kart's a go. The true test now. We're gonna try a little Super Meat Boy, because your controller has to be really responsive. Like, your D-pad has to be good, and if it's not, you're gonna suck at this game. So, let's try this out. Listen, we need easy levels for me, because I suck. Wow, responsive. Okay, that was a little too easy. Let's try again. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Yeah, responsive. D-pad's good. Honestly, I kind of like it better than the Switch Pro controller, to be honest. And I haven't tried the Switch 2 Pro controller because it's $90 and I just haven't bought it yet, but I've been playing this game with the Switch 1 controller and the D-pad is a little, Wow. Incredible. Yeah, it feels good. You know, it's Meat Boyable. I would say for a $30 controller, this is a great value. So overall thoughts, you know, the pros here are that it's a $30 controller. And honestly, like, out of the three that I've tried, I think this one is going to be the best bang for your buck. It feels good in the hands, the sticks are good, D-pad's good, it's got Hall effect sticks, which is nice, because you won't have to worry about drift. And, you know, USB-C, Bluetooth. I guess the cons here are that, you know, it can only be used on the Switch and the Switch 2, which, I mean, if that's the purpose that you're buying for, that's not really a big deal. It does only come in, like, little, like, pastel kind of colors, so if you're too tough for pretty colors, then I guess you're SOL on that, but honestly, this is a great controller for 30 bucks. And, you know, for a wireless controller, that's pretty much what you're going to pay for a decent one across the board. Like, I think that's MSRP on most of those PowerA ones that you're getting at GameStop and Walmart, too. So, this is definitely worth the money. This is a great, solid controller. Alright, our next one, we've got the Pro 2 Bluetooth. So, this one comes in at the price point of $49.99. Which seems kind of odd to me that this is the middle price point, because it seems out of the three, like, this one is the most versatile. You can use it, you know, on Switch, Windows, Android, Apple, Steam. And the other ones are not compatible with everything, so that's interesting. This has the Hall Effects joysticks, thank God, so we don't have to worry about drift. The colors are cool, you know, very, very Game Boy-esque. Let's open it up. Let's see. Comes in a nice box. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's like Game Boy colors. I love the color scheme of this. So, let's see. You put the batteries in this if you want, I guess. It is rechargeable. You know, we got a USB-C port, L2, R2, L, R. Let's see. You know, textured grips once again. Oh, let's see. We got the back buttons here. We can, you know, change the settings on that. Like I said, you can use this on a lot of stuff. So, you know, you can play it on Switch 1, Switch 2, Apple TV, which I have Apple Arcade, so, you know, I'll definitely be utilizing it for that. But this video is about the Switch, so that might be a video for a later date. But, you know, the buttons are shiny, feels good in the hand. Like I said, not too heavy, but not cheap, light feeling. All right, let's go test this guy out. All right, so we've got the Pro 2 controller here. We can play a little bit of Mario Kart. Okay. So I will say, I don't love the feel of this one as much as I like the 2 and the 2C. But that's just personal preference. I just like the style of those other controllers. They're a lot more comfortable in my hands, but like I said, this isn't bad. It's just, personally, I wouldn't go for this style, probably. I like the little chunkier boy controllers. Alright, and we're off. We're doing Waluigi this time. So I haven't played a ton of this game, so I haven't decided who my main is yet, but it's fine. I'm kind of trash at Mario Kart anyway. So let's see. Sticks feel good. Nice and responsive. Like I said, they're not as touchy as the 2C. And I don't think they're quite as responsive as the Ultimate 2, but they're still good. That's not a path. I can hardly talk and review things at the same time. But, you know, it feels good. Like I said, it's got like the textured grips, so it feels nice in the hand, and I do like how the buttons click. Let's see. The triggers on this controller are a little bit bigger, and they don't feel quite as sturdy. I think it's just because they're longer. I don't love that as much. Like I said, it's not bad. It's all down to personal preference. And if you're doing, you know, some things where you want to have less distance from your finger to trigger button, then this is probably great for you. I think that they don't feel quite as, like, sturdy as the ones on the 2 and 2C, but again, I think that's just kind of down to personal preference. So, let's go. You know, sticks feel good, buttons are nice and clicky. And, you know, this is a good controller. And like I said, it's super versatile. You can use it on a lot of different things, so, you know, price point on this guy is $49.99, so I think it's definitely worth the money because you can just use it on so many different things. You know, I can do my Apple Arcade games. You know, I could probably hook something up to my iPhone as well if I wanted to. But, yeah, you know, it's good. Let's go home. Let's check the D-pad. See how it does on Super Meat Boy. Meat. Meat. Ah! It's not it. This is so hard to make sure that I'm not blocking. What a tough life. Tough life of the YouTuber. No, it is responsive though. I'm only frustrated because I'm bad at this game. Ah! Oh no! God dang it. Okay, well you guys get the idea. This is It's Meat Boy. It's fine. It's hard. Whatever. Final thoughts on the Pro 2 controller. You know, like I said, I love the color scheme. You know, it's Game Boy themed, so it's, you know, hold on, let me, it matches my Game Boy Pocket. Wow. It's very fingerprinty. Just ignore that. But I, obviously, you know, I'm a sucker for that. I prefer the style of the 2C and the Ultimate 2 just because, you know, I prefer that, like, Xbox style of controller. Like, having the thumbsticks right next to each other like this doesn't quite do it for me, to be honest, but that's just that's down to personal preference. It's a great controller functionally. You know, sticks are good, buttons feel nice. You know, it's got a good D-pad. I suck at Super Meat Boy, but, you know, that's just a me problem. It's not a controller problem. And you can use this controller on a lot of different stuff. So, I mean, for $49.99, I think you're getting a good bargain for this. Like, you know, you can use it on your phone or on your computer or on your Apple TV. You know, you can do a lot with this controller. So, like I said, it's not as comfortable in the hands as the Ultimate 2 and the 2C, but it is still a great controller. So, you know, it's just kind of down to personal preference of how you want your controllers to feel. And if you like this style better, then this is for you. So we've got our last option, which is going to be our most expensive, coming in at $69.99. This is the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth controller. So this one works on Switch and Windows, so, you know, you can use this on your computer as well. It's got, you know, the upgraded TMR joysticks. It's got Hall effects buttons, like the trigger buttons, and yeah. So this is basically, you know, it's going to be an upgrade from the 2C that I previously showed you guys. So let's open this bad boy up. Looks like it comes, you know, with a charging deck and charging dock. Words are hard. So this one also comes with the extra thumb pads. This is just that Ultimate 2 touch, I guess. Let's see. Open it up. Okay. So this one does feel a little bit nicer, you know, obviously, than the 2C, because it is nicer. It's got some extra buttons, extra functionality. You know, nice grippy, textured grips. Oh my gosh. And let's see, so this one does also come with a charging dock, which is nice. You know, you can just set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about plugging it in. You just boop, right in there. Plug that in. It's a nice little stand. And then, you know, charges with USB-C. You can adjust the sensitivity on these triggers. I think this changes like the modes as well. I don't actually know if this is sensitivity. I just made that up. Yeah, you can adjust. I think this is for the triggers. You can change your modes. Okay, so we got, you know, the Bluetooth versus the 2.4 gigahertz. So yeah, this is cool. This is very nice. You know, this is the bougie of the 8-bit Dude controllers. So, and you know, this is basically, you know, the 2C is going to be the more budget option of the Ultimate 2. So, you know, 2C, they look very similar. This one has a little bit more weight to it. You know, it's got some extra buttons, some extra stuff. Like, this doesn't have those back triggers, and you can't adjust the sensitivity or anything. But, you know, that's why this one is much, much cheaper. You know, because sometimes you don't need all of that extra stuff, but if you want it, the option is there. So, you know, we're going to test and compare and see how this thing does. All right, so we're moving on to the Ultimate 2 controller. So this is, you know, the 2C is basically like the budget version of this controller. So, you know, the other one is $29.99. This one is $69.99, but it does have quite a few upgrades. Notably being, you know, it's got lights, beautiful. So check this out. It lights up when you're moving the stick and when you're pressing like the trigger buttons. That's a pretty cool touch that, you know, I like pretty lights, so it does it for me. But you know, if you don't like the lights, you can change the colors, or you can just turn them off. But I personally like the blue, so we're gonna leave it. You know, this one has a lot more of the bells and whistles than the 2C does, but you know, that's why it's so much more money. You know, it feels good in the hands. Triggers feel nice and, you know, they're not like cheap feeling. Because a lot of the times, like, the triggers feel really plasticky and just kind of flimsy, but these feel really sturdy. Like I said, you know, you've got some extra buttons on the back. You can adjust the triggers. There's also a switch on here, because you can use this one on Windows as well. So you can either use, you know, Bluetooth or not. It also comes with the charging dock. And it's something that I didn't notice when I was unboxing is in the bottom here of this little dock, there's a little compartment. So, you know, if you're using this on Windows, if I could get it out, you know, it comes with a handy little compartment for your dongle. So you just put it right back in there and hopefully don't lose it, because people be losing these things a whole lot. But, you know, that's handy. Definitely an upgrade for sure, but you know, we'll put that down and we'll see how it works. The 2C was pretty good. I very much liked it, so I can imagine that the Ultimate 2 is going to be also a great controller. But you know, we'll play a little Mario Kart. We shall see. We'll be Pauline. Why not? We're excited for the new Donkey Kong. Let's do this one. Rumble function in this thing is powerful. Oh my god. Okay, powerful rumble on this controller. It is very vibrating. So that's cool. You can feel like every little bump is just like, yeah, powerful motor in this thing. I feel like the sticks on the 2C were a little bit more like touchy. Like they were a little bit oversensitive, I guess, in comparison, because I was just kind of flying all over the place. I'm also trying to focus more on actually playing, although it's hard to talk and play at the same time. You know, video games are hard. But, you know, they're very responsive. I feel like they're not quite, like, with the 2C, they were a little bit more sensitive, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But, yeah. Okay, feels good. And like I said, everything feels pretty sturdy. Nothing that I'm doing here, you know, really requires the use of any of these extra features. You know, you're probably going to be doing a lot more, like, PC gaming with that type of stuff. Feels good. I mean, this is definitely a huge upgrade from the 2C, but, you know, that's as it's meant to be. The 2C is the budget version of the $70 controller. But even still, you know, the Switch 2 Pro controller is $90, and this one is $20 cheaper, and honestly, feels good. Alright. You guys don't want to watch me play Mario Kart forever. I just really like that you can definitely tell if your buttons are working or not, because they light up on the lights, so that's super cool. As someone who has to test a lot of controllers, that's kind of makes me happy. But, you know, let's check out D-pad and watch me be trash at Super Meat Boy. All I had to do was run and jump. Okay, D-pad's good, very good. It's just me. This is a me problem. I picked a game that I'm not great at to show this off, but... dang it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, D-pad is good. I'm frustrated in this game, but that's a me problem, not the controller's problem. Yeah, I dig it. I need Joe here. He's a lot better at this game than I am. But, yeah. Alright. This controller is fantastic. I mean, man, if you're gonna get a Pro controller, you might as well just get this one. Like, this is really nice controller. And you got your little charge dock, got a dongle if you want to play it on PC wirelessly. So yeah, would recommend. This is nice. This is a really nice controller, guys. So final thoughts on the Ultimate 2. Obviously, you know, this is the most bouge and fancy of the 3 controllers that we're looking at today. But I think that the $69.99 price point is justified on this. And it's still $20 cheaper than a Switch 2 Pro controller. So I haven't had a chance to try out one of those yet, so I can't really compare. But in comparison to, you know, definitely like the Switch 1 Pro controller, like D-pad's better. It's a better controller, in my opinion. And you know, you got the lights, the pretty bits. You have all the fancy adjustments, which I probably wouldn't use on a day-to-day, but if you're, you know, if you care about that kind of stuff, it is nice to have. And, you know, the extra triggers on the back, the buttons feel great. I definitely would recommend this controller. And it comes with a cool charging dock, and you've got, you know, the little dongle inside for if you want to use this on PC wirelessly, which is nice. Because most of these, you know, you're gonna have to plug into the computer. But yeah, I mean, for $70, like I said, it's $20 cheaper than a Switch 2 Pro controller, and it's just as good, and you can use it on PC. So, would recommend. You know, it is expensive for a controller, but I mean, that is also cheaper than a PS5 controller, and I think it's cheaper than a new series controller as well. So, you know, I mean, it's right on par with what controllers cost, and it's fancy and pretty, so would recommend. All right, guys, that is it for today. So I just want to give a huge shout out to 8BitDo for sending me these controllers. Don't forget, they are running a sale starting on July 8th. So all these controllers are going to be 15 to 25% off. I've got the link in the description. Make sure you click it. Get some controllers. These are already a great bargain for what they are, but you can get them even cheaper starting July 8th. So do that. Click the links. Do the thing. Let me know in the comments, you know, if you like any of these controllers, if you already have some of these, what your thoughts are playing them long term. And, you know, if you're going to grab one, let me know. Make sure that you like, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things that all the YouTubers tell you to do. And most importantly, stay rad.